Hello, everyone, and we are live on YouTube. I'm just going to plug in Instagram. Okay, and we are live here as well. Go live. We just want to have the technical aspect of this conversation checked. Okay, I'll be paying attention to all of the comments on Instagram and let me make sure that I can see all of the beautiful comments on YouTube. And as always, I am going to wait for a minute or so to see who is going to join, but not only me. Today, I have a guest, Claudia Milligan, who's joining me. Hello, Claudia. So nice to
Hi,
see you.
Marta. It's always great to see you. Thanks for having me back.
It's so nice. And those who are new, hi Tina, so nice to see you. And those who you might be watching it on a replay, Claudia, she's been on my podcast, Perfectly Imperfect Spiritual Podcast. So if you want to, I'm sure we're not going to cover exactly the same what we covered during the podcast, but you can go to my YouTube channel at Marta the Medium or just search for the Perfectly Imperfect Spiritual Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And then you can really hear that beautiful conversation that I so much enjoyed. Tina saying, "Hello, ladies. Hello, hello. So nice to see you."
Hi, Tina.
Yes. So we'll just start. It is perfectly imperfect, spontaneous. And if you have any questions for Claudia or for me, please leave the comments and I'm sure we'll be able to reply, channel some guidance for you as well. But we've already set intentions, so we know that we are going to cover exactly what needs to be discussed today. Claudia, where would you like to start with this conversation?
Well, you had said that, with your mom's anniversary around
Mm-hmm.
now, that your mind is a little bit um, preoccupied with thoughts of memories, thoughts of grief, thoughts of celebrating your mom and your relationship then and now. So, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how my work has been changing recently.
Okay. Yes,
Um,
please.
I've I've often been really focused on letting spirit speak. I know I told you when I started learning mediumship, they would often say, just let me talk. And so, what I've been doing more and more of in my one on one sessions and in my demonstrations is inviting the people who are there, the person I'm working with. Oh, okay. To connect with their loved one in spirit themselves, personally,
Mm,
not only to speak to them out loud, but to allow them to speak back.
I
And
love it.
while I started talking, I got a nudge, I think. I'm wondering if I can put you on this spot and ask you to try it.
Of course, yes, yeah. I love being put on a spot, and I like yes, yes.
Beautiful. So I'm going to introduce you to a favorite quick meditation of mine. I stole it from Michael Newton, the guy who does lives between lives. And it helps me go deeper into trance or into an
Mm-hmm.
altered state. So I just want you to look around the room that you're in right now. This is all noticing physical reality. And I just
Mm-hmm.
want you to describe something you see. Just tell me what it is. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Uh, looking at the door in front of me. Wooden door with a glass in the middle.
All right. So now I want you to tell me what you hear. I hear,
Ah, sorry, I thought you were going to. Yeah, I can hear my neighbors. They've just returned home, so they're just stomping above my head.
Excellent. Stomping. And I want you to notice what you feel and say what you feel. And your feeling could be either a physical feeling or an emotion.
Well, I for the first what has popped into my mind, I physically can feel the fluffy carpet underneath my feet as I'm grounding myself. But I'm also aware of the expansive feeling in my chest, like there's like freedom in the heart space.
Beautiful. Then that's perfect. So tell me, Marta, name a favorite place, especially if you can think of a place where you and your mom spent time together that was pleasant.
Hmm. I don't think we've had many pleasant uh, places here on earth, but I have a sacred garden that I've created in meditation. That's our place.
That's perfect. So I want you to close your eyes, breathe in and out. As you breathe in the love that your mom has for you, the greater love that she has for you than she's ever had before. I want you to breathe in peace and contentment, wisdom, wonder, and breathe out whatever you want to let go of, whatever concern, pain, worry. And then I want you to just step right out of your body and in your imagination or not, walk to your front door. And when you walk to your front door, notice everything around you in the hallway, how your feet feel on the carpet or the floor. Open the door and see your magic garden right out there, right in front of your door. And I'm going to ask you to invite your mom to join you in that garden. I'm just holding space for you. Marta, I'm going to ask you to be either brave or foolish, depending on your politics. And I'm going to ask you to speak to your mom. Say whatever you'd like to say or you need to say. Greet her and tell her whatever you'd like.
I normally speak in Polish to her, but I've been aware of her before we connected. Hi, Mom. I'm so happy you're here. I knew you would take over this life, you told me. I'm actually very happy that you showed up for this life because I would wish anyone to know that you can rekindle a relationship the way we did since you've crossed over. And I really appreciate you being here with me.
Beautiful. Now, Marta, I'm going to ask you to be more brave or more foolish. I'm going to ask you to focus on your mom's face. Feel the love that is surrounding both of you, that's holding you and healing you. Look in your mom's eyes.
Mm.
And I'm going to ask you to speak for her. Allow her to preempt your voice, your vocal cords, and your heart. And what would your mom call you, Marta?
Marta.
Okay. So just say, welcome. Hi, Marta. Hello. However she would say it. You can even say it in Polish, but you'll have to tell us what she said. And
Mm.
and start letting her speak. It's just an act of permission.
Mhm. Hi,
And
Marta. Hi, Marta. I am so sorry. Well, I can see my mom crying. I have the tears. I'm in her energy. Hi, Marta. I am so sorry for all the pain I've caused you. I have never realized that I was so emotionally abusive and that my behavior would have impact the way you would carry yourself in this lifetime. I hope you can forgive me. I'm so proud of you, and I want you to know that you're beautiful both inside and out. And I'm really sorry for using all of the derogatory words to talk about both your physical body and your soul. My heart is still hurting because I didn't know any better. But I'm so grateful and honored that you allowed me to be present in your life and that we're able to have that day to day conversation. I am so proud of you for being an amazing mom to Anthony and Ella. And I wish I was that mom for you and your sister Agatha. But I'm doing my best to learn all of my lessons on the other side and still try to be that mother from the other side. I hope you can feel the warmth of my heart and the embrace. She's just hugging me.
Allow her to give you whatever she needs to give you right now. Receive her love and care
Mhm.
and apology and amends.
Yeah. She's telling me that she loves me, I love you, and that I'll always be protecting you and I'll always be by your side.
Beautiful. So if you'd like, give her a hug, or you can hand her a token
Hmm.
of your
Hmm.
love. And don't say goodbye, but you can say see you soon or whatever you'd like.
Hmm.
I want you to step away, step out of the light and the warmth of your sacred garden
Hmm.
and move towards your front door, noticing again how it feels to be on the ground, to be opening the door, to be stepping out of there and into here, if that's the case. Walk down the hallway, come back to your body, settle in again to your physical form. That's it. Breathe. Feel your feet on the floor, the temperature of the room. Open your eyes when you're ready. I'd love to hear what that was like for you.
Mm. It was beautiful. And she's laughing. It's something that I do with my mom every day, but I'm so grateful that we were able to do it here life because my mom, she's part of my day-to-day life, and the fun thing is that not always I listen to her. That's why she sometimes goes and visits other people, but she sits with me in the car, she sits with me in the garden, or when I'm having my coffee or when I'm cooking, and I just have a conversation the way we are speaking right now with her. So I'm used to that. But being able to do it live, it's meaningful. And you're just encouraging me. Well, I try and teach my clients and students to find ways of communicating with their loved ones, but I've never actually allowed or even had that idea that I could put my clients in a spot in a very safe and gentle embraced by my energy and allow them to be able to speak out loud and to speak back. So for that, I'm so grateful.
I'm
Thank
glad.
you.
It's a phenomenal experience, and I'm always moved. I just know that we can have way better relationships with those we love. I adore my son, and we were close while he was here, unless we weren't.
Mm-hmm.
But we're closer now, and he just doesn't deal with the worries, the concerns, the heartaches, the humanity, the frustrations. So he's a lot more fun to be around.
Mm-hmm. 。 . 。
And I love that. 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . the knowing that I have today that when they pass, they don't pass to leave us, they pass to come closer.
Mm. This is so beautiful, and I have experienced that with my own mom. Well, I have various loved ones, many loved ones, but it's with my mom that I've experienced it. I want to say to the fullest, in terms of the human emotions, because I remember there was a moment, and I talk about it often. For the first, was it month, 3 months, I didn't hear from my mom, because later on she revealed, like, it wasn't only that she was adjusting to the new reality, she was not allowed to communicate because she had to feel the pain and go through everything what she caused to me. This is what she explained to me. And then it started flowing the way we're speaking right now, and then she adjusted. So I guess I'm mentioning it as well, that it sometimes might take a while. Sometimes our loved ones are able to communicate immediately, but then we don't know everything on the other side. And the way my mom has explained to me, she was just not allowed to speak with me until she could feel the pain and learn the lessons. And then they allowed her to uh, continue being part of my life.
Beautiful. I grew up in a church that believed that, there was punishment. And I just don't buy that anymore. And everything that I've learned from spirit, from people I trust, from books, it just doesn't make sense that punishment would be part of the deal. So, but there is still learning and there is still healing. And
Mhm.
I love that my son, who when he passed, went through such hell. It would not make sense that he would be consigned to a hell in spirit. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But he has told me similar things that, he he says, yeah, we have pretty strict orders that I'm not supposed to tell you what to do unless you have. That's not a bad rule to have. But
Mhm.
I I enjoy learning and experiencing and hearing other people's experiences of connecting, of learning what it feels like to let our loved ones in. Because I know there's part of me that wants to go like that, wants to push people away. And there's a quote by Leonard Cohen: there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. But I
Mm.
know that when we grieve, we crack our heart wide open and we can either close it up again with alcohol or drugs or food or getting busy, or we can let it open and have deeper and deeper connections with those in our lives and those in spirit.
Mhm. I love it. And I feel like for anyone who's grieving, or maybe for anyone who's very harsh on themselves, I want you to know that it's okay to feel the pain. It's okay to miss your loved ones. Well, for me, I don't know, Claudia, how it is for you, but I feel like we never ever like heal completely that wound in terms of missing the physical presence of our loved ones, but we learn how to embrace that human experience. And of course, we have the continuation of the connection, but there is something that stays in the heart space, or the heart space is changed. It's not the same as it was.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. It's odd. I just had this thought, so I'll try to share it as meaningfully as possible. But it's almost like, when I was dating somebody. Oh, it's so exciting, and you do different things and you get to know people and it's fun, and maybe there's a little bit of a roller coaster element, you know. Um, and then if you make the choice to get married, things change. Things change. And maybe you don't go out on phenomenal dates anymore. Maybe there's a lot of time sitting in front of the TV or whatever. And things settle in and they're different. So sometimes I would miss the excitement, the novelty, the being treated and being feeded, and but there's a depth to a longer term relationship and a deeper relationship that just isn't there in that early days. And in like manner, I think I know our relationships with our loved ones in spirit grow and evolve. It's I wish that I could avoid missing my son's physical presence. Sometimes it's literally physically painful. I want him around. I want him to hug me. I want to feed him. Those things, those experiences. But
Mhm.
what I have today is so much deeper, so much closer, so much better. And sorry, David, but you're way better in spirit.
What does he have to say? What is he replying? Could you tell us
Hey,
now?
what do you have to say about that? Oh, mom. Oh, my. You're so funny. You're always trying to figure things out. You're always trying to make things make sense. But love and connection and spirit, they can't make sense to you yet. You only see or feel or hear just such a little bit of what's really going on. And you're right. Our hearts do open with loss and obstacles and challenges and pain, but they break open only to let more in. What if you thought that there's not good and bad? What if you thought of it like this? There's the good and the seemingly bad. What if you kept noticing all the different ways we can love each other that weren't available to us before? What if you saw the possibilities? It's not loss, it's change. And I know, Mom, you love progress, but you hate change. And they come together. I want everybody out there, Ma, to know that there aren't any goodbyes. We keep walking forward with all those that we love. And for the people that we've had to leave behind, people that no longer work for us, we can still take that love that we had for them. We can still take the lessons. We can still take the positives and carry them with us. But if you don't keep letting go of what doesn't work anymore, you're never going to have room for the good. I love you, Mom. I love talking to you, and I love talking to people.
So beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And I do a development circle, and it's funny because we've tried channeling with students who have never tried it before,
Mm-hmm.
and they're blown away. We just start in meditation. And I think the biggest obstacle for us to channel our loved ones, to channel spirit, is that it's weird, or
Mm-hmm.
they didn't teach us, or I don't know. There's so many beliefs still within me that I can't do that, or I can't do that yet.
Mm,
And I
I love.
know where my limitations are. They're just my imagination. And then my
Mm-hmm.
imagination is built for better things. So
Mm-hmm.
watching these people who have never tried channeling, some of them have never even heard of channeling, and to see them relax, and sometimes they'll be sitting there and their faces will screw up and they'll be like and I'll just ask them to smile, and they
Mm-hmm.
relax and they smile, and all of a sudden the words start pouring out. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't have limits.
I love it. And once we find that rhythm and we don't, and we carry on channeling, then we are, this is one of the, well, useful tips, I guess, from my guides, but from me as well. Then when we find our rhythm and carry on just talking without second guessing ourselves, then it flows so much better. But it's normal, it's human to have those I described, those blocks that I had as internal blocks. And it's not only some of them were my own, but some of them I picked up while attending various development circles, because I want everyone to be mindful that the fact that someone is a psychic medium, it doesn't mean that always they are going to operate, or that they're going to do what's for the highest good. So I would love everyone to use their discernment. And unfortunately, there are people who are going to try to keep you small, and they're going to try and make you believe that you're not good enough, that you can't do it. So I had to overcome lots of the things that were imposed by some of the spiritual teachers whom I trusted, who didn't want me to actually trust myself and to believe that channeling it is accessible to anyone. Like you're saying, we can all communicate with our loved ones. So I hope from that conversation you are going to, well, give it a try, speak to your loved ones and speak back to them.
Absolutely. And whatever works, you can do it in writing, you can do it free form like Marta did earlier. Um, I have a Mac with a great dictation system, and I'll just sit and turn the dictation on and speak to someone in spirit, and then allow them to come back. And it's just that permission. They're so waiting for our permission.
Hmm. I love it. And this is a nice thing because um, well, automatic writing is very useful, but then when we allow ourselves to speak, then I feel we can go even deeper. And then what you're sharing, that we can also record the replies back out loud, and then we would have it in writing. I just love that idea.
Yeah. And sometimes it's very simple. In social media, you can send a post, you can send a voice link. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes moms or people with loved ones in spirit will sit in front of their computer and turn on the voice link and record, hi Fred, how you doing today? I miss you. Hi mom, and just speak. And there is something, some power to the spoken word, right? If you think of Genesis and the description of the creation of the world, um, uh, the God of the Jewish people spoke into existence the world, and we can speak into existence the presence of our loved ones. You said you felt your mom. It wasn't just a conversation, it was a presence, it was a connection. And that's what makes
Mm-hmm.
it so gorgeous.
And I wish for everyone who's watching it, whether live or on a replay, to experience it, because it's just such a beautiful experience. It's bliss and peace. Of course, I had tears because my mom was very sad, and I was able to tap into her emotions because I stepped into her, or she stepped into, we merged our energetic fields. But still, the overall underpinning emotion was of that peace, bliss, and then love.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
It's unbelievable. And I don't know about you, but I can't always connect with people like that, that be that present.
You mean with people here living on the earthly plane?
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Mm-hmm.
some part of me, like I said, that seems to push people away. You know what? I don't think I'm really going to be 100% there. I'm going to nod and I'm going to smile and I'm going to kind of hear you, but I'm not really going to listen. I'm not really going to engage and I'm not really going to be vulnerable. I'm not really going to open myself up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yes, I agree. I don't open up to everyone. And my personal trainer, he always jokes because he says, "Are you angry right now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just keeping my facial expressions to myself." But the other thing is that when I'm out, well, I don't do it on purpose. But first of all, gym is my space where I ground myself. I'm with my thoughts. So I don't want to be approached by other people. I have my energy really close to me because I do not want to be connecting with other people's loved ones and to pick up on the energy of other people. And also, I am not going to be happy go lucky and all the time smiling. So I might come across as someone who's just upset or angry. I'm like, no, no, I'm absolutely fine. I'm just like with my thoughts.
yes. Yeah. So, hmm. I would love to hear a little bit about what you've learned about that, about protecting your energy and learning when it's safe to open and when it's better to just sort of, I feel like it's removing ourselves almost just a little bit, distancing a little bit.
Hmm. Protecting my energy has allowed me to really be able to be present in this human experience and to be as Marta, not only Marta the medium, because I experienced when I first started opening up to the spirit world lots of anxiety, which, well, I experienced anxiety because I left an abusive relationship and I had various things that contributed to my regular, like general anxiety, but also the way that spirit would come across would mimic that anxiety. So
Oh,
whenever there is a strong person in the spirit world, they would make me feel so anxious that I couldn't breathe, and that would be so overwhelming. So I needed to find ways of protecting my energy, closing my energy, but also to set a contract with the spirit team. When is it that I allow them to come through and where not, because that mimicked my other potential health problems and then I would be spiraling. So knowing that I'm in control of that communication with the spirit world, 90%, because there's still some stubborn or very persistent spirit, and that anxiety stops the minute I channel or pass the message. Sometimes it comes and it's so urgent, and I might not be doing reading, but it is something so urgent that I just have to pass a message, like I did to my personal trainer. I was guided to work with him because Spirit World wanted me to pass a message from his father, from his aunt and grandmother. And yes, so they also put us in random spots so that we can continue being of service, not only during those readings. So I don't know, I'm going off tangent, but
no,
protecting.
but that's good stuff. And I think so. I don't know about you. I grew up learning a little bit about self-care, a little bit about, eating right and getting rest. But I don't, my parents never taught me about energy care, about protecting my energy, about making sure that I'm getting downtime, quiet time. I did not know how important it was to relax. Who knew? And David has
Mm,
told me, Mom, the less you do, the more we do. What? I was
mm,
always moving, going 24/7, working hard, moving, accomplishing. And I thought
mm,
that was my job. But in the silence, in the peace, when I can call that in, that replenishes my energy, my spirit. There's
mm,
so much to learn about how to do life. I don't think we'll
mhm,
ever know.
Mm, I love it. And the minute you allow yourself and give yourself permission to just be and to slow down and relax, that's everything.
I got off a really good spiritual practice of reading, writing, and an hour of silence a day. And all of us, not all of a sudden, but slowly, I just got concerned about more things. The world was going to heck in a handbag, da la. My mind was speeding up again. And since July, I've been back to an hour a day of silence and the grounding, right? And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, the whole world is better. Who knew?
Mm-hmm. And it is so important to prioritize ourselves. And I keep explaining, well, now I feel I don't have to excuse myself. The right people are in my, well, energy bubble and they understand me that I recharge my energy by being on my own. I do not recharge my energy by taking energy from other people. So actually, I do need lots of time on my own, lots of time being in nature, lots of time just being with my thoughts, and also lots of time to have my spirit team meetings while I'm having my coffee in the garden without anyone physically being near me.
It's beautiful. So, um, I wonder if any of the people listening have any questions about.
Yes. Mhm. Feel free to leave any comments, and welcome to everyone who's joining us. I'm going to leave, let me see. Lisa saying here, hi, I missed the beginning of your life. I didn't learn it until 4 years ago. I was 52 years old. Now I share it with my grandbaby and daughter. And then Elle said, so true, Marta, fear-based and ego that can block our permission. This was when we were talking about channeling. Paul is saying, thank you for sharing so much. Your experiences help so much. Then Tina had to go. She's going to watch it on a replay. And welcome to Natalie. Welcome to Lisa. Welcome to the real Albika child. Well, let me know what's your name. Welcome. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Graham. Hi, Hegemonica. Hi, Nelly. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Carla. Welcome, everyone. But please do ask us any questions that you like to ask, or if you've got any own experiences or anything that you would like to share, please do so.
Beautiful. I'm glad that you're all here. I hope that you are practicing connecting with your loved ones, and it's a matter of practice. For a long time, it was just so foreign to me that my mind was really busy going, oh, you're losing it, you're losing it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we allow that evidence to just pile up and build up and build up, and over and over and over, our loved ones in spirit show not only that they're there, but they're so close to us and they're helping us
Mm-hmm.
in so many ways. And
Mm.
you don't need to be alone.
So, what advice would you give to those who are not practicing mediums? Because you do not have to be a practicing medium to connect with your loved ones, but those who feel, okay, I need more evidence. So, what would you tell them, like how they can get that evidence to really reason with their logical mind that that experience is real? What would you tell them?
Well, one of the things I mentioned was that David has told me that, oh, there's strict orders that we're not supposed to be giving you advice unless you ask. But we can ask for help and then pay attention. Part of my meditative practice sometimes is just sitting and noticing feelings, thoughts, sensations. And so a lot of times I'll talk to David. I'll say, David, I want a new teacher. I want to learn tarot. I want to do this. Um,
Mm,
I'm confused about that. And I sit and I talk to David, and sometimes he gives me an answer right away, but sometimes a day later, somebody mentions a teacher or
mm,
there's a synchronicity. But until I learned to pay attention to what happened, I missed so much coming in. So I'd say first, be open. Second, pay attention. But third, I think is really important, record. If you get a message or an idea or a thought, write it down. I don't know about you, but I forget what I thought 3 days ago.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I do. Well, I don't remember. Paul has written, oh, we have two questions as well. But Paul commented, when Marta was connecting with her mother, I felt like I was connecting with my mother at the same time. It was very interesting.
There's something about watching people make that connection like you made with your mother. And when I do a demo, I'll see maybe there'll be 20 people on the screen, because I do a lot online as well as live. But just to watch the faces of the other person, maybe Donna is talking to her kid, but to see the other people as Donna moves into an altered state, it almost gives permission to other people to be aware of what's outside of our normal vision or feelings. Paul, that's phenomenal. We'd love to hear more if you feel like sharing that.
And I have 3 more comments. Elle says here, so that's on YouTube. How can we play our part in helping our recently passed loved ones to adjust on our end?
I think it was 5 years after my David passed, and I don't remember if it was a random comment, but all of a sudden I had a conviction that it's my job to encourage him. I thought, well, that's kind of goofy. He already knows he's more than his last day. He knows what joy he brought to people. He knows that I'm proud of him. He knows all that. He still wants to hear it. And we can encourage those we love in spirit. I don't know what you're up to right now. I know you've had some tough times and you've had some good times. And my hope for you today is that you're just enjoying the heck out of spirit. And it's so wonderful to open yourself up to send that love, because you always get it back. I'd like if you would answer that question as well with your own take. That would be great.
Yes, please do leave the comments as well. I'll pay attention. And then, okay, we have 2 other here. Hegemonica, how do I know? Okay, how do I know that the answer I get is from the spirit and not my own head?
I'm going to ask you to think about putting your hand in a bowl of water, and either the water is cold or the water is warm. You're going to know as soon as your hand is in. But when you're dealing with spirit, you've got your mind. Think about it. You're standing there with your hand in a bowl of water, and you're wondering, is the water warm or cold? Is it warm or cold? What would it feel like if it was warm? In a letter from David once, he says, Mom, you don't sound nuts when you say that you heard me. You heard me in your thoughts say, I love you too, Mom. What makes you sound kind of nuts is when you go to somebody else who hasn't heard what you heard or thought what you thought, and you ask them, is that my kid? Is that my kid? Now that's nuts. But it does take us time. Just like we learned sometime, probably when we were little kids, we got into the bathtub, and if the water was warm, we knew it right away. It takes time to recognize the feelings. I felt like this. And David said that I was going to meet a new friend. And there was a feeling to that thought that came to me. A couple days later, I met a new friend, and it reminded me immediately of what David had said. So I learned to correlate the feeling of that moment when I thought David said something to the reality that, oh, okay, because they do prove themselves, but I want them to prove themselves with burning bushes and with amazing, magical moments. And sometimes they come in on little cat feet and they just drop presents at our feet. And sometimes I'm oblivious. So I just want to tell you, thank you for the question. Just start paying attention, not just to thoughts, but feelings, impressions, and what happens after. You get to recognize it, just like when you pick up the phone and it's a good friend, you know immediately their voice. Well, in the same way, you can learn to recognize the voice of your loved ones in spirit. And it's not going to be a question of, is that them?
Beautiful. And Courtney says here, I'm trying to expand on this ability. I don't have full confirmation that I'm having loved ones or my own voice. I guess it's practice is what I'm understanding. I guess it's practice is what I'm understanding.
And a lot of it is practice, Courtney, but try a whole bunch of different things, whatever appeals to you, and see what works. There's a lot, test the spirits. But there's a fun meditation I do. I guess it's a meditation. I imagine that my head opens up on a hinge and I sit and I imagine that hinge opening. I take my brain out, I put it in the hallway, I close the door, and it's just a reminder to me. I don't need the conscious mind, the itty bitty shitty committee. Okay, right now is a time for spirit. And whatever you do, rituals, I know I've heard, you're not supposed to be dependent on rituals. But for example, I will light a candle. And the candle reminds me that I'm going to do sacred work. So I have certain little ways to set myself up for success. Keep trying different things.
I love it. And when you mentioned Claudia, and Hegemonica says thank you to you, Elle says thank you. And then she was wondering, would we then be allowed to communicate? Could you clarify, Elle, what do you mean? Do you mean once your loved ones are on the other side and you've helped them somehow? Well, if you can clarify, what do you mean? Would we then be allowed to communicate? Because I feel, and Claudia is going to reply, we're always allowed to communicate like with the other side, but it takes practice or maybe time, or there are different things that are happening on the other side before our loved ones can communicate.
For 62 years, I learned over and over and over that this is not possible. When somebody goes to spirit, when somebody dies, they're gone. Get over it. Just get over it. Get on with your life. And so there's a lot of those old beliefs hanging around. There's an old Zen master story about a student comes to the Zen master, and the Zen master pours his cup of tea, and the student takes a couple drinks, and the Zen master continues to pour the tea until it overflows the cup and spills all over. And the student's like, what's going on? What's happening? Why did you do that? And the Zen master was just reminding the student that you have to empty the cup to make room for more tea. And in the same way, I have to let go of you're going to go to heck if you do this or that. I have to let go of, I'm limited. I have to let go of every put down I've ever heard. I have to let go of so many things because I'm always getting better information. I'm always getting more information. But if there's not room, And I read something the other day about, think of a bowl of fish where there's 100 fish in a little bowl. There's no room for them to get around. Same thing with my mind and my thoughts. If I'm so full, my mind is so full of old beliefs and old thoughts that aren't working for me anymore, I'm going to be sitting there going, this is nonsense. You can't talk to dead people. You just can't get a life. So letting go, let it go, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Just try it and see what works for you best.
Mm-hmm. I love what you've mentioned. I was to comment on that when you were talking about describing like the your head being opened and then the brain living on the well, in another room. What I did, and I know some of my students are watching this live as well. What I came up with my guardian angel was a trunk where I would. So initially, my ego was rebelling against, and before I would connect with the loved ones or I would start doing mediumship readings, my ego would say, "Are you crazy? Psychic medium? Is this even real? Like, come on." So what I started doing is that I started leaving my ego in a trunk, and any thoughts, any feelings, but I would not lock it because ego tends to rebel against, like if you force it. So I was very gentle, and I would say like, and I would treat my ego, I frequently talk about it, as a small child. And I would say, look, we're going to have ice cream. We're going to watch that film after, but let me do the work. And initially, the ego would still try to get out of the trunk to keep checking. And then I said, like, look, we have to find ways of making it work for both of us because this is my purpose, this is my calling, and I am going to do it whether you like it or not. So we'd better find ways of cooperating. And then one day, my ego, this is my internal crazy thought process, came and then asked me, will I be safe? No,
Oh,
do you really want to do it? And I said yes. Will I be safe? And I said yes. Okay. And it has never rebelled against, or like it is in that trunk. So I just want to mention that, find something, I guess, metaphorical that works for you. But maybe there'll be other things like Claudia's been sharing, that may be rituals, like a candle. I have an angel figure that my mom gave me on my, yeah. Well, it's
oh.
broken. You see, it's all broken. It
Well, but
keeps
that's
coming.
good because her head is disconnected, right?
Yeah, the head, the angel wings, but it's just perfectly imperfect angel, and I always look at it. Yeah,
Wonderful.
Elle is saying, okay, we can talk to them if they aren't allowed. So so Elle was asking whether we can talk to our loved ones if they aren't allowed. So okay, she was referring when I was talking that my mom, when she crossed over initially, was not able to communicate. So I'm sensing maybe, Elle, you've had someone with whom you've been not able to communicate. Claudia, what do you think? Can we talk to our loved ones before we start hearing, or before our loved ones
I want to,
communicate?
hold on. I don't know what happens in spirit, but I know that each one of us, both here and in spirit, is given what we need at any moment. And it just makes sense to me that in the example of Marta's mom, who was asked to keep distance for a while until she was healed and settled and more aware of the harm that she had done and the way her life had unfolded. There was a waiting time. But why would that stop Marta from sending messages? Why would that stop Marta from sending love? Why would that stop Marta from remembering beautiful memories and keeping that connection alive, even if the messages were not yet returned, because that comes in time. So there's a story, I'm not sure if this is just way off, There's a story about an old man in a river, and a young man's watching the old man. The old man's bathing in the river, and a scorpion drops down from a tree, lands in the water. He's drowned in. The old man picks up the scorpion, puts him on the bank, and gets stung in the process. And he does it over and over and over as the scorpions are dropping into the water. And finally, the young man can't stand it anymore. And he says, "What are you doing? Every time they're going to sting you." And the old man just looks at him. He says, "It's my nature to help. It's my nature to love. Am I supposed to allow the scorpion who has a nature to sting to dictate my nature?" So regardless of what people return to me, I always want to try my best to send love, to send messages, to send connection, to send help. It'll
Hmm.
come back. Sometimes it's not the right time, but whenever I do something out of love, there's healing that happens, whether I see it or not. So keep it up, keep connecting, keep talking, keep loving.
Hmm. And what has just popped into my mind is that you can also speak to the higher self of a person who's still alive. There have been so many people who cracked me open, who hurt me in this lifetime, but I have been sending them love. I have been sending them what you've been talking about when we communicate with our loved ones, but not always it will be possible to make amends with the physical presence of our loved ones or friends. And I want you to know that you can still talk to the person's higher self, and you can still do it. You don't have to wait, what I'm trying to say, for a person to cross over. You can still do the exact process of communicating with the soul, because we're souls just having that human experience. That has just popped into my mind.
Yeah.
Hmm. L is saying here, what do we have here? Yes, oh, beautiful, no resistance and honoring all our parts. Yes, my father, he came randomly the days after his passing and rarely since. Marta, uh, it- you brought him to say that he was having a hard time understanding the philosophy there, and other mediums brought him, but I can't willingly bring him in. Wonderful explanation, thank you. Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I love that conversation. Like time has really like passed very quickly. But I guess we should maybe wrap it up, because we don't want you to. Well, it's never boring, but like maybe we'll be back at some point. So we just want to keep it exciting.
Absolutely.
Any final message you want to, like? It's normally when I try and finish my podcast, but I feel like finishing that spontaneous live. Yeah, it feels good to finish. If you have any message that you would like to leave anyone who's watching it, whether live or on a replay.
Just one thing, a line from a song, Some Enchanted Evening. Once you have found them, never let them go. And we get to do that. And sometimes it seems hard or ridiculous or it takes too long, but it's so beautiful and so unbelievable. Don't ever let them go. Don't ever let them go. Thank you for having me, Marta. You're amazing.
Thank you. You're amazing too, and it's such a beautiful, you're such a beautiful soul, and you've got such a kind heart, and I love that we're able to have those spontaneous conversations, and then we channel, and then we cover whatever needs to be covered. I'll just read the final message. Lisa says here, my youngest daughter has disowned me, and I send love to her higher self every day, so she knows that I do that he okay.
Beautiful.
I have your banner I created. Look, if you'd like to connect with Claudia, then you have her website, and that's your book. Yes.
Yes, Letters to David, Following My Son into Spirit. It's just this story of how I began writing to him shortly after he passed, and we're still writing today.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm sending everyone lots of love. And once again, Claudia, thank you for being here with me. I'm sending a big. That's what I do with my daughter before she goes to bed, and like small, but sometimes I do like a gigantic heart.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, lots of love to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm finishing on YouTube. Bye, everyone.